Good evening, CineNerds. We've got a very special episode for you today, as JP and myself are joined by two of the stars from the brand new amazing film, The Dummy Detective, which released this past November. We're joined by Jonathan Geffner, who not only wrote The Dummy Detective, but also stars as Ventrilo, and he's got a special little guest with him behind, if you can see. He's got Mr. Swade himself, Dummy Detective. And then we've also got Deborah Twiss, who played the lovely Chloe Lake, and she's also known from Kick-Ass, A Gun for Jennifer, and A Beautiful Distraction, among many more. So let's dig in a little bit. JP, you want to take it from there?
Yeah. Just real quick because as I was looking through everything, and I watched this movie over the weekend, and after I watched it, I actually went back and read like the little bio that you guys sent to us, and then I realized you had actually did like a I guess a web series or another short film or something with the ventriloquist, with the detective.
Mhm.
So how is this kind
Yeah,
of where that spawned from, or?
these characters of Trillo and Swade, I being Trillo, playing the role of the detective ventriloquist, and my partner Swade, about 30 years ago. That's when I created these characters. And then over the years, I've done a bunch of things with them. I've produced two short films. One was Oxford Park. That was the first one, not in 2005. Filmed it in England. And another short film was a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago now, which is Casa Noir, which is a parody of the famous Casablanca iconic movie. Uh, but they all featured Trillo and Sway characters and also web series, which I also did within the last few years, 2 seasons, 20 episodes. So that's all on YouTube. All of those are free for everyone to see right now on YouTube, except for our feature film, which is just released recently, The Dummy Detective, and that's available on Amazon Prime in several countries and also on several other platforms.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, I want to go back and at least watch the web series to see, you know, to get more of a build up to this. And I wish I had caught that before I watched this, and I missed it in the info packet. And I was like, oh, well, now I want to go back and watch that because I'm kind of a completist like that. So
From there, I just want to piggyback in, and I want to dig into a little bit of Deborah's motivation behind her character. So it's kind of got the old school, Dick Tracy, detective vibe, of course, with ventriloquist. But you play a little bit different of a character in that you're a little bit more plotting and scheming. What gave you inspiration in this role? What made you pick the character path?
Well, the script. The script did the work. I just brought her to life. Did Jonathan did an amazing job putting together a wonderful script. So as soon as I read it, it was very clear what Chloe's motivation was, what her path would be, everything. So, kudos to Jonathan for writing such a great script that made it just a joy, a pleasure to bring this character to life.
Outstanding. If you two had to pick somebody on set, and this is a little off the rail here, but I like to get into a little bit of a fun area. Who would you say on the cast was the kind of class clown? Who was causing bloopers or mistakes along the way intentionally to have fun?
Uh, I don't think anyone fits that the category for this shoot because this was such a micro budget indie shoot, which we were under the gun to shoot as quickly as possible. So everybody was very focused on getting this job done. It was a very challenging kind of shoot. So although there was camaraderie, I think everyone got along very well. But we didn't have much option and much leeway to kibitz and kid around a lot.
I can understand that, and the camaraderie is very evident on screen. You guys definitely worked well together. Um, Well, from that then aside, then as you know, obviously she mentioned that you had. Well, oh, hello, welcome, Sean. Happy to have you. No, that's absolutely fair. Joining us is Miss Sean Young, and everyone here knows her in this movie as the lovely Harriet, and she is also an icon in the industry. She's been in numerous movies, Dune, Blade Runner, and so on. So I was going to kind of piggyback into that. Now that Sean jumped in, this is good for me to ask with Deborah. I know you guys have worked together in the past on a couple other films. So is that part of the like camaraderie that helped into these roles?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've got such a great chemistry just in the everyday world, like coffee and wine drinking. That yeah, I mean, we just have our thing. And like our chihuahuas and stuff like that. I mean, it's beyond. It's great. It's perfect. It's just I love working on Sean. She's one of my favorite people to work with by far. No, you totally like bring light to my soul.
Oh, that warms my heart to hear. That's awesome. Yeah, I think I saw it was The Networker and A Beautiful Distraction, right?
Oh, and more. Crave, more than that, Nick and Nikki. I mean, we've done and a Confidence Game. She's the lead in my movie Confidence. So yeah, she's like my my movie star.
Yeah, but I mean, not too much of a movie star at the moment, but that's okay. But I didn't get my hair done. I'm getting my hair done in January because I got to go to work at the end of January. And I always, oh, hello, Boopy.
There's the Chihuahua.
There's the little guy in the background. It's always good to let the hair rest under winter hibernation, so it's all nice and healthy when you start the new year.
Outstanding.
Did you watch it? Did you see the film?
Of course,
yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah. I loved it. I loved it. I love the noir style films anyway. So I was, as soon as I saw the trailer for this, I was like, this looks like a movie I'm going to really enjoy. So I was pretty excited
fun
to see it.
And I think even kids can watch it, you know? So I kind of like that element of it because it's original and yet it doesn't need to sort of use, you know, there's nobody in the film who's snorting cocaine, smoking weed, or guzzling alcohol, you know? So it's just really a good old fashioned kind of story, even though it's done it with a new idea and a new take, a whodunit with a new take.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you're so cute.
Yeah, I had a blast. Like soon as I saw the trailer, and I like odd films. I'm one of those guys that I love just things that come off a little different. And as soon as I saw the trailer and I saw a ventriloquist private dick, you know, I was like, I'm sold on this. You know, this is this is a film I want to see.
Well, it's sweet, and I think I think there's a a market there for it.
I like the original take where it's kind of like a Clue setting, but with ventriloquism. So I was applauding that, and plus I loved a lot of the camera angles and the cinematography too. So there's a lot of good things happening here. To that point, Jonathan, what started your love with ventriloquism?
Oh, well, I've done a number of things, various things through my life, and ventriloquism was not from early on. Actually, I was 31, I believe, when I saw a ventriloquist performing in Central Park, New York. First time I'd ever seen a live ventriloquist performance. And it was an epiphany moment for me. It's one of those very special, memorable moments in someone's life, in my life, which I was totally inspired and felt this rush of excitement, like, this is it. This is what I have to do. Now, I had been involved in improv comedy. I worked at Chicago City Limits improv comedy group. I trained with them, and I also played the piano for some of their shows, because I'm also a pianist, and another thing. Of the things that I've done and do. So I had experience on stage. That was great as a background to become a ventriloquist because I had stage experience, and particularly the improv element made me comfortable. Like if something goes wrong or something, I could ad lib. Um, so that, and I was a teacher, piano teacher, and school director briefly, and these various things all helped as a background. And using those experiences and adding the skills of ventriloquism, bringing a puppet to life. To me, it was so inspiring because it seemed like this is more magical than any other kind of puppetry. I mean, I like puppets in general anyway, but the fact that the puppeteer doesn't have to hide and can just be out there, and it doesn't appear that he's talking. So it makes the illusion of life, the illusion of reality for the puppet all the stronger. So for me, that's what made it the most kind of puppetry. Plus, it plays with the opportunity, the stage to that line between reality and illusion, which always intrigued.
God, I don't remember in the film whether you used your hands that much. If you had to have your hand up a puppet and the other hand here, how did you manage? Because you have your hands always, Jonathan.
Well, that's the puppets being a ventriloquist. Then keeps me
You
in
have to
check
use your
from being,
mouth or not use your mouth.
that sort of keeps me in check from being too hand.
There's
I was
never
gonna.
too much. There's never too much of this. It's always expressive.
I was gonna make note. So the director is Rob Margolis. Am I saying that correct?
Margulies.
Goalies.
Margolis. So did he kind of keep you guys in check when the hands were flying and things were happening?
No, that's Sean's note to me. He didn't know.
Fair.
I was always like, well, I had to go through it too in my early career, like 19. I remember being told by a director, don't use your eyebrows so much because I would end up being like this all the time. And I remember going like, okay, I have to learn how to talk without like moving my eyebrows, just little things that you don't want to be too distracting, but like, because life is always very distracting.
Yeah, and I'm a touring musician. Yeah, I've been a musician for 30 years and touring the world all over the place. And one thing that I had to do as a musician for stage was I had to practice in front of a mirror.
Right.
I had to constantly do movements and learn what looked right, what didn't, in front of a mirror. And and so I get it. There's little things, there's little quirks that you do that you think's natural, but it doesn't in certain environments.
I remember I worked with Sting in Dune in 1983, and he had to do the same thing. Also, he had to double practice while he was singing because singing and playing at the same time takes a certain level of coordination. And I always wanted to learn to play the drums. I'm a tap dancer, but I could never get the four different, coordination from your feet to your hands between the waist. It's amazing, and what the human body and what humanity has come to in terms of what we're all capable of. I've seen gymnasts. I felt, who and ballet dancers and stuff now I'm amazed with are athletes, but I was actually quite amazed with Jonathan during this because of the fact that you can do this whole thing without a telephone. And I was like, what? I never asked you, Jonathan, how one learns it. Like, is there like a ventriloquist class or, are there
Yeah,
insights
people learn different ways.
that, only ventriloquists know?
Well, there are different ways people learn. Nowadays, you go to YouTube, people give lessons on how to learn, so you can learn it that way. But before the internet, people had other ventriloquists or try to figure it out on their own, which is pretty tough of a challenge. I learned mostly informally by watching other ventriloquists. Once I got the bug in my head that I have to learn this, I made it my business to go to every ventriloquist performance I could find. Luckily, I was living in New York City where I grew up, so there are a lot of ventriloquists. I mean, maybe not a lot, but not so hard to find them as it is if I was living in some. So I went and watched and studied, and I went backstage every time and tried to meet the ventriloquist and ask some questions, get some pointers. How do you do that? How do you do? And some of them didn't want to sort of divulge
share their wealth,
and some of them were. Some of them were very nice.
What would you say is a tip? I mean, like what kind of tips, or don't you want to share like your secrets of ventriloquism?
Well, the main challenge, just as far as lip control, is the what they call the double labial letters. You have to use your lips generally, which is D, P, F, M, and W. So those are the ones that are the tough ones. The other ones, not so hard with a little practice and checking in the mirror. If you avoid all those letters, not so hard really to talk without moving your mouth. So that's the challenge. So you develop a way of pronouncing those letters with in other ways, using your tongue a lot in positions that they don't normally go, and practicing that way to get substitute sounds.
JP, when you go back through, you might hear me whispering because I was just trying to emulate what he was saying. I had a little whisper in the mic. So I have another question, a different type of ventriloquism, kind of. Did I read right into that Deb, your doll that you had with you is essentially your mom to you and as a character? Is that what that was? Because at the end, when you said he asked if you were talking to your mom now, where is she? I was kind of taking it as that was the doll in your room. Is that right?
Me?
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you had
no. I think. I think I just always heard voices. I'm schizophrenic. That's the deal.
Well, that's fair too. But I didn't know if there was an irony with the doll where you kept giving him grief for being the ventriloquist, and then you had that doll. So I was seeing if there's a correlation there.
Oh no, I think it was really cool that he built in, and it's the reason like why she goes to somebody like him. She goes to a ventriloquist to be a detective because she's hearing voices. So she wants to go to somebody that kind of can identify with her, even though she's not revealing any of this to him. It's her own little secret. He's openly hearing voices and translating them. She secretly hears voices and acts.
That's awesome. Okay. That's a different way to look at it with the schizophrenia part. Yeah, because I didn't like I saw her as crazy. I didn't necessarily, so that's way more fun.
No, I actually studied schizophrenia online and through ChatGPT and things like that, just to have a little bit of background about the decisions, the choices that I was making as an actor.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What was there? And this is probably for Jonathan. Was there a reason for the Chloe character to wear red all the time? Was it like showing a red flag? Was it telling you something, or was there more of a reason to that?
Deb knows something.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of personality thing. I mean, red hair, which I envisioned her as being red hair, and so happens Deb fit that. I would have cast her anyway because she was perfect for the role, just her acting, but she also had the look that I had in mind as well. And so, red also hot, fiery temperament, and femme fatale, sexy. So red seemed to be the main color that fit.
Okay. Yeah, it's a classic vamp kind of outfit color.
I was just trying to dig deeper if it was more of a meaning, like a hidden message in there, or if it was just that was a look you went with.
Well,
she's the devil. She's the devil. Don't you get it?
Well, now the pieces are all coming together now with the schizophrenia, of course. I've got a question for Sean. So there's a little thing that JP and I both noticed that you do throughout the film while you're getting tea prepared, and that you stir the tea with your middle finger. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, that was a Rob Margoli's request. And I remember thinking, when he first said that, I remember thinking, okay. And but I think the thing that it does is it makes you cock your head and go, wait, what? Did she just do that? And it also sort of hints at how absurd and ludicrous it opens the door to Mrs. Hubbard maybe being not what she seems, right? It's a little precursor of he's pretty weird. She's capable of any of this as well.
I think the beauty of the writing is that all these characters kind of have that crazy little mystery about them, where you kind of get an understanding of what the outcome will become, but you still are questioning these other characters as you go along. And little things like subtleties like that were definitely those moments that made you think twice. Okay, is this a big fu to the rest people, and she's not really caring about them? How is this character developing? So I enjoyed those little details.
Yeah, they're fun, and I enjoy doing the accent as well, which was fun. They're a lot of fun, and then you always notice other actresses who are American doing English accent, and thinking if you compare, I think the best accent, the best English accent I remember hearing is Angelina Jolie in Tomb Raider or Tomb whatever it's called. I loved her accent in that, but I was challenged, and it was fun to do an accent.
That's awesome.
Where are you, Deb?
I'm at the Milk Bar Coffee Shop on 29th and Broadway.
Season.
What?
It's the season. Where are you two guys doing the podcast? Where are you guys located?
We're in Northeast Ohio in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, okay. I grew up in Cleveland Heights.
We were just talking about this. Jonathan said he lived there for a year.
Yes.
Yeah, I grew up I went to school for 1 year in Cleveland Heights High, and I went to Roxborough Junior High back in the 70s. I guess it was the 70s, yeah. And and my parents worked there for a little while until they moved to New York City. Yeah.
So this is a great segue, because one of my questions I had lined up, because it's the reason I wore the Cleveland hat, was Jonathan, in the beginning, when Deb is trying to convince you to come investigate what's going on, you keep saying you're going to be traveling to Cleveland. What made you choose Cleveland as that city?
Well, as I mentioned, I lived there for 2 years.
Okay.
Way back. I wonder if our times overlap there. Let's see when I was Sean and me, I'm thinking, because I was there from, I think, 1981 to 83. So
I'd made it to New York by then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just just thought of Cleveland like someplace that's
it's regenerated. There was a time when Cleveland, the Cuyahoga River caught on fire. Do you remember that?
There's a song written about that. There's a song written about that.
Johnny Carson made a joke about it on his show. The river caught on fire, and also I think there was a news report that it was so polluted in the Cuyahoga River that the eyeballs of fish stopped developing because they couldn't see anyway. Right? That's how polluted it was. I don't know if that's a real story or not.
Well,
but it was.
I'm just going to deflect and say Detroit's worse, but
yeah, I think that's true.
No,
I remember.
But we actually had a brewery here, Great Lakes Brewing Company, and they named their pale ale, it's called Burning River, just to kind of pay respects to that. So it is a thing in our history, unfortunately.
But the butt of jokes. I remember when I was there too, it was often the butt of jokes. So and I just think as a place to mention, it sort of has a quirky sound to it. It's kind of sounds a little bit fun, a little bit like it's a city where people have heard of, but most people haven't been there, so it's kind of felt like a good choice.
I call us Chicago Junior without the crime rate, so
yeah.
I try and go that route. No, because we've made some progress, but I do want to talk to Mr. Swade. Is that possible too?
Oh, sure.
Since he's there.
Well, hi guys. I was listening in. Hi there, Sean and Deb. Geez,
Hey, buddy.
so nice to see these gals. I'll tell you a little secret, guys. I was in love with both of them. Sean,
Understandably so.
Yeah, I
Slade.
believe that.
What's
Yeah.
not to love?
exactly.
So Swade, who do you like better, Ezra or Miss Levinsky?
Oh, what I like better? Well, I like to hang out with Ezra, of course, because he's kind of fun, quirky in his own way. Mrs. Levinsky, well, she can be kind of the norm. I mean, she's a sweet lady, but wow, can she be annoying? Jeez.
That's fair. I've got a wife. I know how it goes. No, don't tell her I said that.
Did
Yeah,
you
she
hear,
watches.
no, on that route? Did you hear the joke Bill Hicks said? They're in the Garden of Eden, and Adam says, "Yeah, we got all the food we need. We don't have to wear clothes. It's like we're in the Garden of Paradise." And Eve says, "Yeah, and it isn't enough, is it? It's just not enough."
That's fair. That's fair.
That tracks. That tracks.
Well, Swade.
Sorry,
bes-
Jonathan.
bes-
Go ahead, Mr. Swade.
Besides Jonathan violating you, outside of that, what's your favorite part of the movie?
Well, my favorite part of the movie, I think it's when we had the confrontations with Deb's character Chloe, because I got to intensely interacting with her. Not exactly in the way that I wanted to, you see. At least it was intense emotion. So that was the start of something I was kind of hoping.
Not the stab you were hoping for, but I get you.
Yeah. It's a spoiler alert, I think.
So Jonathan, I noticed in the credits too something that's unique. You guys, since there's not a lot of movies with ventriloquists, you guys gave locations and thanks to the companies that made all of the puppets that were in the movie, including Dinky, and I just thought that was kind of unique and extra and special that and even the local businesses in New Jersey I saw. So you guys really paid respects to the community that you guys are filming in, and also the people making the puppets, and that was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice gesture, but it was kind of funny, an inside joke for me, because he's giving credit to who makes the so-called puppets, which I find slightly insulting, by the way. But the thing is that what I thought was the most amazing thing about this movie, I don't know if you guys are going to agree, but I thought we succeeded in making Jonathan here appear to be real, because like in actuality, I kind of make him talk. That's the secret. I let it out of the bag. Sorry about that. Just
That's outstanding.
I had this compulsion to tell you guys that. But
Well-
in the movie, he looks real, doesn't he? I mean, you really come across as a live character. I think it's incredible.
It's almost
Well done.
almost believable.
Almost. You can
Almost.
suspend your disbelief a little bit to think that this guy here, is real. It blows my mind.
So to that point, Sway, do you prefer being called dummy versus puppet?
He's dummy. He's talking to you.
Oh, he was asking you.
No, I'm just a wooden person. That's all. A wooden person.
All right.
Not to be confused with a woody person.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I almost made that
I
same
got
joke.
that going too, Sean.
My mind goes there. What can I say?
The
My
eye
feelings there.
the eye drooping sold it for me. I was there. Yeah, there you go. He's winking at me. I got you. So I have a question about Miss Levinsky, Statler and Waldorf, the Muppets. Is there any kind of like inspiration from them into that character, or is just similar dummy look?
You know who that is?
I don't even know who they are. But those two. I mean, I know the Muppets, but those are two Muppet characters.
They're the angry old men in the balcony who are always judging everything.
Yeah, so I know who you're talking about. Right. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's kind of it's ubiquitous, right? The old characters, they tend to be very cranky, like you. he's getting more cranky every day now that he's an old fart. Yeah, so
my
kids
say the same about me, so I hear it.
Yeah, it kind of happens. Just happens to us.
Well, what else do you guys want to talk about with the movie? Tell us some of your guys' highlights and favorite moments. Let's start with let's go with Deb.
Well, I always tell this story, the one when I'm on the bed with her and so I'm trying to comfort me while I'm crying and putting on this whole act, and like Sean comforts me, but I was laughing so hard, and so she does this thing where she puts her arm around my face so that we could get through it, because we kept trying to get through the scene and we couldn't, because I kept cracking up. That's one of my favorites.
She was laughing because as I'm trying to comfort her and everything, I make Mrs. Hubbard into a little bit of a predator, and I'm trying to give her a kiss. So she was laughing, and I said, "Oh God, I don't want to do the takeover again." So I put my arm around her mouth so nobody could see her laughing, and there was a lot of scenes I got to do with Deb that I enjoyed too, and also Deb decides what Deb wears. Wouldn't you agree, Jonathan? I mean, I think Deb put a little bit of care into what he was going to wear, and I think that's what was nice. Also, Jonathan had a lot of definitely approval. You wanted us to kind of fit in, but we all had to kind of scrounge around and figure out what we had and who we could borrow from and what was able. Montgomery Frazier also helped us a little bit too. He was the costumer, and I liked how everybody looked in the film a lot.
Yeah, that was great.
I was a fan of the look for sure. All of the look as a whole, the set aesthetically was pleasing. It was smooth and it was nice. But knowing that you did that little arm thing, is that a scene like around the massage thing in that ballpark?
In that zone, yeah, somewhere in there.
Okay, because that was one of my other things I was going to say. Suede, you probably loved the massage scene, huh?
Oh, I wish we had done more of that. I would love.
That scene was great. She's got great hands, and I swear, I was like, we could do this as long as you guys want. It was good.
Right now, I'm writing a screenplay for another feature film. It's going to star me with Deb and Sean. We don't need you.
Okay.
We're moving into the porn market now.
and
exactly.
And it's just a 45-minute massage. Yeah.
That's the name of the movie. It's going to be called The Massage. Me, Sean.
I guess we're going to get to see. Are we going to get to see just how wooden you are?
Exactly. Now you're catching.
Oh wow!
That's not all you're going to catch from me, Deb. All right, I think that's.
All right.
Shut.
Let him calm down a bit.
Sean may have kept the movie PG, but she's got other thoughts in mind in real life.
There we go.
Let's see. I know that Jonathan, I talked to Deb a little before you came in, Sean, but I know Jonathan wrote everything and you guys stayed really, really key to the written material and source material. Was there anything that was improvised or anything that was thrown in that was changed just and gave a little more flair that you guys liked and kept, or was it pretty much straight to that point?
It was pretty much straight to following the script. We didn't have too much time to play around, but there were a couple of lines that were ad-libbed that stayed in the final cut. I don't remember exactly which ones, but I don't know. Maybe Deb or Sean remembers any. I'm not sure.
No, I think we stayed really pretty tight to the script.
Yeah, I mean, it was maybe two lines were ad libs, maybe, but I don't remember if they were.
With a whodunit, you kind of have to make sure you don't accidentally cut anything, because it could have a sort of a meaning or a plot meaning in the story. Sometimes you can do that in comedy, but
I'm not sure if any lines at all were actually ad-lib that were used. I mean, there were a few lines here and there that might have been ad-libbed. Sometimes people make mistakes, of course, but maybe whether intentional or not. But in the final cut, editing them, I don't recall any ad-lib lines that were used.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't think of anything.
As Sean pointed out, though, that makes a lot more sense, for the viewers watching this. That's something we don't think about as the regular people watching the films. Like, you guys got to stay to that script, especially in a whodunit, because that could reveal too much. So I completely understand that.
When I worked in Stripes with Bill Murray, the dialogue went right out the window every day. And a lot of them were comedians. And that was really the first experience. I think I was 20, where you have to be thinking on your feet all the time in a comedy, because with people who are very experienced with improvisation. I mean, I barely kept my dialogue in that film. It was so fast moving, and all the people their chops were really honed. So yeah, but it's fun. It's also fun to stick to the script as well. That's really fun too. And you have to come in really prepared and know your dialogue and all of that.
So, random question. I know this is out on Amazon and a few other streaming services.
We lost Deb's audio. Sorry.
Yeah.
Seems like we lost Deb's audio. Yeah. Debbie, I don't hear you.
I think she's having trouble. Can you guys fix it?
Did her AirPod die? No, because we'd still hear the rest.
I
There
got
she
her.
is.
I think I got her.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to tell you guys I gotta go because I have to go to this job on 23rd Street. I'm doing a TikTok shop live.
Well, it's
And
beautiful,
they're gonna teach me.
honey. Love you.
Good seeing you guys. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Deborah.
much.
We appreciate the time.
Have a great day, and thanks for loving the movie. It's fantastic. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan. Love you, Sean. Bye, you guys.
Maybe.
Yeah, just yeah. There you go.
There we go. So yeah, my
so-
question was, with this being out on digital, is there any plans for a physical release for this?
No, there aren't right now. So yeah, I mean, that would be nice to have that option as well. But right now, we're just trying to get onto as many platforms as possible. It will be on more platforms soon because we licensed it to Tubi, so it will come out soon on Tubi. We don't know the exact release date, and there are several more that we expect will pick it up soon. But when exactly, no.
Yeah, the movie business is having to struggle, I think, to reinvent itself because so many people now just prefer not to leave their homes. I go to movies here in Georgia, and I'm like, there's 4 people in the theater. You know, New York City probably not the case, right? Because it's such a big market. But yeah, it's the movie business is trying to find itself again. It's going through another transformation.
I think that's a good assessment and a good one to hear from you too, especially because you've seen it more than most. And the big thing that JP and I push so hard is we're such big advocates of physical media and people going to the theaters and getting out. Like we were a little upset about the current prices on like the popcorn buckets, but at the same time, it's giving people a reason to go to the theater. It's little silly stuff, right? But those things all matter. So even though there's not a physical release now, because I understand there's costs associated with those kind of things, but hopefully down the road, hopefully it takes off because platforms like Tubi are coming up, and I think that's a great one to be part of to spread the word, especially because it's free and people will be able to see it.
Yeah, I hope it will pick up a lot especially when it gets on Tubi and the other platforms as well. I'd love for it to have a theatrical release, but that's just not in the cards now because it's a very small indie film, and when a big studio is not backing it, it's almost impossible to get it released theatrically. That's just the nature of it.
Yeah. And we're big, like I said, Ryan said, we're big advocates for physical media, and one of the biggest reasons I love digital. I have a love-hate thing with digital, and as a musician, I understand the industry changing and this and that. I don't make a dime on royalties. I don't make money really until I hit the road and I'm touring. Record labels get all that money. Publishers get artists don't get it. So, my thing is there's so many movies that I love, like growing up through the '80s, and that I've stayed up late watching USA Up All Night, or like some of these lower budget indie films and just lower budget films from that time period that are not available on digital. And the only way you can have them is if you have the physical media. And there's so many lost films that have been lost to time because they're just not ready available anymore. And so I'm kind of a big advocate for hanging on to these physical forms of media, for history purposes for these films.
Well, the industry is having to reinvent itself. In the 80s and most of the 90s, luckily, I was in enough good pictures that I enjoy good residuals from those, because back then, you would do a contract and the producer would agree to a contract of paying you residuals according to Screen Actors Guild. But now a lot of actors have what's called a buyout. So, and that became the model, which is get everything you can up front, because nobody's going to get paid later on. And some people suffered from that. And also prior to that, I mean, Mary Pickford is not enjoying, or her descendants enjoying, any residuals, right? Or people, I mean, who did not have that in their contract with Screen Actors Guild. Another thing I find interesting is Fred Astaire's representatives. He was one of the first people that ever put in his contracts or future unknown media throughout the universe, right? So I always thought that was kind of interesting. Like, wow, that was kind of futuristic.
I mean, it's so sad. I mean, I think artists as a whole, JP is talking about the music side of it. You guys know the acting side all too well. I think that it's definitely reached a weird turning point where, you're seeing everything go more heavily than it has in the past in the companies and the corporations and the studios' favors. And it's just not fair to the struggling people out there, and the actors and the directors and producers and all the people that put the show together. So it's definitely a weird point. And I think you're right that reinventing phase is here for sure.
Yeah, I find that is true, not just in show business. Sort of a little teeny story, I swear. And somebody came in and I needed them, and they like tried to gouge me. And then I went to this smaller mom and pop place, and they didn't do that, right? So I said, adios to the corporate buyout one, and said, I think if you get rid of the whole concept of a family business, not to get too serious, but I even heard this story that Starbucks, when they began in Seattle, they would target all the coffee shops, right? They get a coffee shop here, coffee shop here, coffee shop here, and then they would get right in the middle of it and sort of ruin their business, and then buy up the lost mom and pop shop that was there, for the past whatever decade or so. And I think a lot of the younger generation has lost their patience with that. I think that was Starbucks in Seattle that did that, right? And so at a certain point, it will become enough. People will be like, well, you're ruining the quality of life through this, for this bottom line, that just at the end of it, is that really a good business plan when you destroy what people have built for decades? It just seems kind of silly.
Exactly.
It is. It's incredibly sad. And exactly, to that point, you're right. I'm gonna go a little sidebar and tell a little story too. Just I thought you should know this, Sean. It's no secret that you have kind of been put through some things in the past, and I just want to tell you that your perseverance is one of the points that I use for my daughters and my wife, because you were trying to speak out and be very vocal at a time when it was frowned upon for women to do so. And the last thing I ever want is for my daughters or my wife to ever have their voice silenced. So kudos to you, and you're amazing.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, everything has a path, but you never know. And I really feel like God has watched over me my whole life. And if one door closes, another one opens, and you have to be vigilant. And the bottom line is, don't sacrifice your good spirit for some temporary advancement, because I don't think it pays in the long run. I really don't.
No, and you can see, your career still spoke for itself, and you're making quality movies and doing it right. And John, you got people like Jonathan and Deb working with you, and so it's amazing to see like where this is full circle coming through into everything. And this movie was fun. This movie was enjoyable. I laughed at quite a bit of it. At the same time, I was drawn in to finding out about the characters, and we had a good time watching this.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. I'm really glad to hear that.
Yes.
Any plans for a follow up to The Dummy Detective?
I told that to Jonathan. I said he should try to sell it to a platform with the promise that if they want to make a second one. But I guess everybody now is doing their reshuffle right now in show business, and you got to find the money. It's really you can't make a movie without some money, and that's one of the things that movie making is dependent upon.
Yeah. So I would love to do a sequel to this movie, and I would love to shoot one or more of the several screenplays. I have 3 other screenplays for feature films with Trillo and Swade, these detectives, and so the same main characters. Over the years, I've written them, so they're ready to go. But yes, it comes down to money, because I have executive produced everything I've done. So that's a fancy sounding title, executive producer, for meaning that it's my money. But it's I made a solemn vow to myself when I went about doing this movie to produce The Dummy Detective, that this is the last one that I'm going to put my money in, any of my money. So yeah, I'd love to do another one, but it won't be with my money anymore. So
you remained really good though, Jonathan, as the the very school of hard knocks filmmaking. You are a very A+ graduate, because it's not easy to pull it off, and you did, and you have concentration. You got to have that to complete anything, and you had the ability to pull people together and make it happen. That alone is something that you should feel very proud of. I'm proud of you for being able to get that done.
Thank you, Sean. I really appreciate that. And this was wonderful. If it turns out to be the last movie and the only feature film I make, I will be very glad at least that I had done this, and very, very blessed that Sean was able to do a major role in this film. So that's really double dream come true to be able to work with Sean, because I was a Sean Young fan, like all of us, I guess, before I met her.
Well, and Jonathan, I was so happy to help you with other podcasts, but it's not something I do very often. And so I did it because Jonathan was so decent and so nice to work with. Everybody who's a producer always wants their actors to say, yeah, they'll go on the road to do the podcast. And it's easier now. It used to be we'd have to do like the Good Morning America show, or, like really have to be uncomfortable in a certain sense if you're not that type of chick. I'm not one who loves to go and talk about myself, in a venue like that. But for Jonathan, that was always a yes, because it's you want to be good to the people who are good to you, and that's how the world goes round, in my opinion.
See, that's where, to me, a lot of the industry, entertainment industry as a whole, is missing something, and it's just human decency, like you just said. Being good to one another is so important.
Yeah, I agree.
And the one thing I do like about is, if there is a sequel, I love how Harriet's character ended, because it was so like, yeah, she was guilty, but she's got a plan for everything, and she's covered. So there's so many opportunities to carry that path. and back to your point of the reinvention of the industry right now, like, so I feel like in the last 2 years, maybe even 3, we've seen a resurgence of low budget, micro budget, as you said, independent movies doing more than, because everyone's just sick of the uh hero movies and the over the top CGI and all that stuff. People are getting back into the brass tacks of it all, and it matters now. And places like Tubi, I think especially Tubi, even Netflix to an extent, is still delving into some of the independent stuff. But like Tubi is definitely doing something magical for the people who are the creators that want to do it right, and their exclusives have been winning me over for the last year for sure.
I think the millennials have realized that they have to outcreate the problem with fresh ideas, because every idea has really been played. So, since Shakespeare, so you have to really come up with something that's kind of fresh, even within the context of characters that you also need recognizable heroes in certain things. But that's one of the things I like about the millennials and Gen X is that they've met the problem. Not everyone, but many people have met the problem by out creating the problem.
Yeah, and there's
I like that.
There's been so many good independent films over the past handful of years that I have just generally fallen in love with, and more so than the $200 million blockbusters. So
I think
that's
that's
saying
what
something.
people are realizing.
Yeah,
They have more depth and more character, and they're not so machine or robotic, and they just keep going for the remakes and the cash grabs, and it's really getting tiresome. So I'm back to, I love seeing films like this where we are getting back to what matters, and there's depth and there's character and there's fun.
Amen. That sounds great. Yeah, I think that's true.
and
Well, also, when you do a movie by committee, this is what kind of messes up a lot of creativity. Is you have to have somebody at the head of the helm. If you're making movies by committee, it's like you have to give everybody a chance to have their opinion, but that should really be something that leads to a unified agreement among people. And if you don't have somebody at the head saying, okay, I appreciate everybody's idea, but we're going to go this way because I'm the boss and I do it that way. That's I think that's how the Navy is run. That's how you have to have somebody at the top of the chain to actually say, yay, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And to put their foot down when it isn't what they want to do.
And the one thing I wanted to say to Jonathan too was the fact that you put all your money into this film to get it done. The one thing I'll say is kudos to you for doing that, and more so, you said this will be the last one you do with your own money, but the one thing I think you can walk away being proud about is you did this your way, and you didn't have anybody else controlling you with you putting your own money into it. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah, thank you. That is the upside of such a thing, that I could do what I want. I had final say on everything. So I had a lot of input from people. But yeah, that is
well,
a good
input is good. There was a moment where Jonathan showed me the picture and it had music, and I thought this music's not working. And honestly, Jonathan, I wouldn't have said so in a bigger production, because I know it would just lead to more discussion among people who don't know Jack. So what's the point? It was too serious. And I said to Jonathan, listen, this is a comedy, really, at the end of the day. Even though we all approached our characters as if they were serious characters, the music has to be more playful. This music that you have isn't working. So you never want to have to tell a producer that they're going to have to go spend more money. That's not what producers want to hear, So, but he took it like a man, and he, did what was necessary to give it that playful feeling. And I think when you hit it right with the music as well as the principal photography, you only bless the movie further so that it can kind of all come together at the end and work. And I think I'm very glad you did that, Jonathan. That was a good move, because you didn't have to. You know, you didn't have to do that.
No, I didn't, but I'm thankful to you, Sean, that you gave me that feedback, because this was when we first had picture lock, what I thought was picture lock, meaning all the video, all the cuts were set and finished. But yeah, the music that I had, Sean gave the criticism of, and I agreed with her, and I realized that she's right.
And people don't like it. People don't like it when you bring them something like that. They don't like it when you say this music is not going to serve you in the long run. You need to lighten it up and make it more playful. And I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, it did make a big impact, a big improvement in the film. So I'm very glad that I had that conversation with Sean, because then I hired somebody, Clifford Tasner, who is a really excellent, very fine composer. And he wrote great music for this. So I think it really elevates the movie.
I think so.
He was, I was able to get him to do it very cheap because of the less than he would normally charge, because he loved the script, and he loved the picture at the temporary cut that we had at that time, which I thought was picture lock. But he also told me, hey, I can write much better music for you. So anyway, yeah, I hired him, and he did a great job.
I think the music definitely adds to that noir effect as well. It's very soothing. It rolls with the theme, and it keeps it going great. So
yeah. Do you guys have any upcoming projects you're working on?
I go to work at the end of January. I'm going to do a cabaret with some other actors for one night in Brooklyn on the 29th. I don't have the name of the cabaret in my head, but then I'm going to go and do a film with a director named Travis Mills, and I'm thinking it's April. It's April or May when we go off, and it's going to be in Mississippi. It's called Buck Naked with Jesus, and it's a comedy, but it's kind of it's an offbeat comedy. I play a character called Sister Pearl, and I'm homeless, but I'm a healer. Like, I just touch things and I heal them. So I play like the kind of homeless healer, and it's going to be a comedy. I believe it's a comedy. We'll see. Sometimes we all get there. We wonder if we're on the same movie, but we'll see how it rolls out.
I'm going to keep my eye out for that one.
Yeah, I'm sold. That sounds interesting as can be.
What about you, John?
We'll see how it rolls.
Well, I still perform. I do ventriloquist shows. I don't do as busy a schedule as I used to intentionally. I've cut back. So I'm in semi-retirement, I've decided, but I still perform. And then I play the piano. I got more back into playing the piano in recent years, and very enthusiastic about just enjoying that now in these years where I have more time. I was busy for many years. Well, I have two daughters who I brought up mainly as a single dad for most of those years that they were growing up. So they were my top priority in life, which means that my career took a back seat. And I didn't pursue some opportunities that I had that presented themselves along the way. We would have meant going to LA probably, and other places, and being on the road a lot. So I turned down all that stuff, which I don't regret at all, because that I got something more valuable, which is a close relationship with my two daughters. Now they're
life is hell.
You meant Sabrina, because Sabrina was on the shoot helping out.
She's lovely.
Yeah, she's a filmmaker. By the way, yeah, she's going to be a lot more famous than I am. Sabrina Geffner, same last name for now, but Sabrina really is very talented filmmaker, and yeah, so I'm close with her and with her sister, my other daughter Michelle. So that's what took up so much of my time. But now that they're on their own, although we see each other a lot, but I have more time, so I went back to playing the piano mainly. I have some piano students, so I do that, and a few other things. But I'm busy promoting this movie, of course, The Dummy Detective. And yeah, I've got those other scripts ready to go. So when I have a little more time, I'll see if I can maybe pitch them and find ways to do it. A lot of that will depend on the success of this movie. I mean, if this really catches on, then of course it will make it easier for me to pitch for something else. So
I think this movie will do well once it hits Tubi or something like that. I think this movie's really going to do well
Maybe
for
it'll
it.
get some traction.
Yeah.
Yay.
And when we post this, we will make sure we have the link to the Prime link so that we can get people directed in that right direction.
That's
Uh,
just I mentioned the dummydetectivemovie.com. That's the link. That's the website, the placeholder page, really, just one page where it has all the links, and we keep updating it when we get new platforms. So
Perfect.
they're all there, and also links to all our social media.
That's
Okay.
clutch. That is perfect. I have two other things to say real quick before we wrap up here. The first one is that I noticed there's a in memory of, and it was Al Geffner. Who is that person to you, Jonathan?
My father.
That's amazing. That's very
Yes.
very dear.
Yeah, I lost him a number of years ago, but I was very close with him, and he was a really a wonderful man, really, really good father. So big influence on my life. That's why.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
Well, the last thing I was going to say, unless you guys have other things to contribute, you have anything else you want to talk about? I was just going to say it's very important that we say what was on the end of the credits, and that's that no dummies were harmed in the filming of this movie. I cracked up when I saw that when I got the end of the credits. So that was wonderful.
Yes. Well, I mean, that wasn't my idea. Swade maybe put that in.
I'm sorry, Swade. Well done.
All right.
JP,
Well,
anything else?
no, I mean you've covered most of any questions I had, so yeah, I'm good.
I don't know how to shut up sometimes, and
Having
I'm very
us. Thank
caffeinated.
you for liking the film. It's
Yeah,
really great that you like the film. We
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, and thank you for joining
No, we are
us,
beyond
and
happy.
so yeah, thank you for joining
Yeah,
us.
sorry
and-
I was late. I was snoozing. I get up early and meditate and do yoga, and I fell back asleep, and then I forgot to wake up again. So thank God Deb called me, because I was like, so yeah, I'm not all polished, but as polished enough.
Well, you look lovely,
I get it. I get it. Yesterday, I fell asleep sitting in my chair watching a movie, and I woke up with my phone ringing, and it was my chiropractor, because I go for acupuncture and adjustments, and they're like, "You're supposed to be here 30 minutes ago," and I'm like,
You're supposed to be here.
"I was asleep."
I know. The holidays get a little bit sleepy, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for your wonderful, wonderful interview. Your answers to the questions were all amazing. Having you guys here has been delightful, as well as Deborah. I wish we could add Ed, Kristen, and Harry or Hari. I want to hope I'm saying that correctly.
Ed, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been great. But I'm happy we got you guys, and this has been a pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Likewise. I enjoyed it. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us. Until next time, guys. CineNerds out.
Lisa's out.